Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily, nothing's changed. We're looking at this A, B, C. We're just looking in this last wave down in here to see if that's over. And at this stage, I can't say that that is over yet. I was looking for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in here. We do have that bear hidden there. At this stage, it's looking rather bullish in here, so we may get another one up in here for an A, B, C, and then get an A, B, C, larger flat, larger one up, and then it goes down and breaks the low. So it may turn more complex, but yeah, longer term, I'm waiting for this, and then a buy set up for the longer term buy. Whether you want to trade all this in here, well, that's up to you. It's more scalping. Are you just looking at this last part here on the daily? We've got that 1, 2. We're in this wave 3. We can get wave 4 and a wave 5 up. We're past this 100 fib here, and we're just about up to that 123.6. So there is a chance it still goes high here. I am looking at I'm waiting for a wave 4 here. And then we trade this wave 5 up. It may have just started here. So really waiting for this time factor here, and then I can look to trade that wave 5 up once I see a complete correction. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, waiting for a time factor here and then trade that wave 5 up. GU, I'm looking at this possible flat. We got a nice impulse up, looking at like an A, B, C, and then we get this A, B, C running or expanding flat here before we get a larger C up. So I do hope we do get more downside in here. The H4, we got that larger correction. Sorry, we got the 5 up, lost all the divergence, and now I'm looking for that larger correction. And then I'll be looking for a buy. Really need these lows, this low here to be broken, and then I'll start to look for a buy. We do have that bull hidden there too. So as long as that low there holds, I'm still bullish on it. EU, well, if I zoom out on this is weekly, but we got an A, a B, and a C on the weekly up to that 100 fib. H4, very similar to GU. I'm looking for 5 up here. 1, 2, 3, wave 4 and a wave 5 up. Again, very similar. I'm looking at a very similar correction as on GU with an A, B, C in here and then an A, B, C before we get that possible wave 5 up. So you can scalp, scalp a buy, scalp a sell, or you could just wait for the complete correction and then trade this wave 5 up if you get a bullish setup. And you just looking at this last part here, looking at that A, B, C, it hasn't got to that 100 fib yet. So I am still looking for more upside. On the H4, you can see I'm looking for a wave 4. Get this wave 4 complete. I'm hoping this comes down, breaks this low for a regular flat, and then we get an A, a B, and a C before we get that 5th wave up. This is turning quite complex. This, the price action. Looking at the price action here, this is turning quite bearish. So all this can turn a lot more complex. At this stage, it looks more bearish for another one down, breaking this low. Like I just said, I hope it goes and breaks this low here. But then if we get 3 waves down in here, well, this is going to be the larger correction. So then we can get an A, a B, and a C, a flat in the middle here before we get an A, B, C. So it is turning quite complex when we look at the price action. Ideally, as soon as this low here is broken, I'd start looking for buys. Buys, get a break of that low. And then if we get a buy set up, even if it's just for an A, B, C, a flat, get this upside here, and if we're lucky, it goes from here and we get that wave 5 up. GY, looking at this WXY, X2 and a Z up, looking at that as a B wave, and then we get an A, a B, and a C down, larger flat, before we get more upside. At this stage, really waiting for this X2, and then we can look for a wave Z up, buy a wave Z up. Looking for a correction here. Well, there's 2 scenarios here, like I've mentioned in the group. First is this is a flat and we go up and break the top. There was an entry in here for that. If you're looking for this flat, if you're looking at this flat and the top to be broken, this was your entry in here. And if it doesn't go, well, you just get the 3 up like we've got here at this stage. The second scenario is, and the one that I'd prefer, is we've got a nice impulse down in here, get a correction in here, and we get 3 down here. So I'd be looking for a sell, for at least an A, B, C here. We're looking for that X2 on the daily. So this could turn quite complex and we get a large flat in here or something like that for an A, B, C. So longer term, I'm looking for that X2 correction. H4, well, I dare say there's still more upside in this and you could look for a buy. We got like 1, 2, 3, we're getting a wave 4, and you could trade a wave 5 up. We do have that bull hidden there. So if you do get a bullish setup, you definitely can look for a buy. It's more of a scalp. When I say buy, this is more of a scalp because I'm looking at this as a possible B wave. That's our impulse there. Get an A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here as a B wave, and then we get that C down. So yeah, it's more of a scalp than a long-term buy. UY, this is pretty much untradeable now. In here, this correction, I am looking for that. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're waiting for this time factor here before we trade that wave 5 up. H4 is where it's getting very difficult because this is turning more complex. We had the 5 up here. We got an A, a B, a C, a flat that we were looking at. Then we started getting a nice impulse up in here. I was waiting for a correction to buy. Instead, it comes straight back down. And this is looking like the choppiest wave now. So this can turn quite complex. This can give us a C down in here, and then we get an A, a B, a C, a flat, and then A, B, C. It can turn quite complex. So unless you're experienced, I'd be leaving this one alone. Like I said, I'd be looking for a sell. we already have the 5 up in here on the H1. We've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up with bearish divergence. There isn't really a sell setup on it. This is still much more, it's still very much bullish. I can't go into the reasons why, but the people in my group know. Yeah. So you could, get right down onto the lower time frames and just scalp. And that's all you're really doing, just like scalping a little one up in here just to break that top and just scalping. I'd be leaving it alone unless you're an experienced trader. UCAD, we got that Z down here. Again, I'm looking for the buy after we got that break of this low over here. We got the 5 down on the H4. Well, just have to. Sorry about that. Someone's ringing at the wrong time. But like I was saying, we got 5 down in here on the H4. Lost all that divergence. So I'm pretty much looking for a larger correction and possibly more downside to go and break this low. We got an impulse up, and after these 5, I'd be looking for a bullish setup for at least 3 up. We got like an impulse and a very deep impulse to this impulse here. This is looking like the cross. This is looking like the choppiest wave in here. So this can turn quite complex. This can give us 3 up in here. Then you get an A, B, C. Then an A, B, C. Larger correction before you get 5, 3, 5. So, yeah, again, this is very tricky to trade because it looks very corrective. So, yeah, I'd be leaving it alone for a while unless you're just scalping. The Swissy, we got this like A, B, C here bouncing off that 100 fib. I don't believe this here is over yet, though, like I've been saying for quite a while. Not convinced this is a low. If you've been following me, we've been looking at this. So we got like 1, 2, 3. I'm waiting for a wave 4. Then we trade a wave 5 down. So I'm waiting for this time factor here. So I dare say this is going to turn quite complex as well, just like what we went over with CAD and UY. So we got an impulse. This is looking like the most corrective wave in here, so we can get 3 up in here, like an A, B, C. Then you get an A, B, C flat. Then you get A, B, C before we get that 5th wave down. So again, it's going to be more scalping. And if you're trading in here in this correction, well, you got to be experienced to do that, or else you're just going to get cut to pieces. You're better off to wait for the complete correction, and then trade that wave 5 down. E.g., like I've been saying, we're looking for any buys. We got the 5 up, larger correction, larger flat here, and we're looking for another 5, 3, 5. At this stage, you're either on it or you're not. We've been looking for this buy setups for the last couple of weeks. So, sort of it's been choppy, but sort of got a flat in there. Unfortunately, it didn't go and break that top. I can't go into that too much either, but we sort of have an A, B, C in here for more upside. But if you got into any buy, like 3 down in here, buy, you'd still be in the trade. Yeah, at this stage, if you're not in it, you'd pretty much have to wait for a little correction in here to try and get in. But at this stage, it's like 1, 2, and we'll get a wave 3, 4, 5. So just going to H1 here. It's very risky. It's really not the time to get in. We do have a lot of bearish divergence here on the H1. So, if you are trying to get into this on some sort of a bull hidden in here on the lower time frames, just for us, it's really just scalping at this stage now. WTI, ever since we broke this low here, over here, we're looking for a buy for this C up. Well, I was looking for an ABC in here, possible ABC, but that was taken out. It's gone too far now, so and that happened quite a while ago. So we're looking for this wave C up. It is extremely choppy on the lower time frames. Very difficult to get in and live through all this. Like, this is sort of have a flat here. Oh, to go and break that top, but now we're starting to get bearish divergence. You can see how choppy this is. It's quite choppy, so it has been quite difficult to trade. Yeah. Now we're breaking the top again, and we're getting more bearish divergence. So you could look for a buy if you got a nice setup. You could look for a buy. Very, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to get on this. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, even on the lower time frames, if I quickly go down to the M15, you can see it's so choppy. It got a nice impulse here. This was where you would have got in this pullback here after this impulse, and it's sort of given us a flat in here. So, I mean, you could look for a buy. You're not getting a very nice entry though. Gold pretty much leaving this alone. It's right at the top. We got the 5 up on the daily. Um, we do have that bull hidden there, like I've been saying time and time again. This will either give us a deep correction to this wave here, or go and break the low, and that bull hidden plays out. And it's pretty much doing that. I've been saying this for a long time, ever since we got, started to get upside from here, and we had that bull hidden. So nothing surprising here. Whether you want to trade this is another story. It's sort of getting an A, B, C here now, or may even turn into 5 waves and go and break that top. Then I'll be looking at an A, a B, and a C. Larger correction after these 5 waves up, and then another 5 up. So I'm looking at all this big correction here, some sort of a big flat, running or expanding flat, or may just turn into a regular flat if this top doesn't get broken in this B wave. But either way, it's starting to get risky now. There's been opportunities to buy it, and that just got to get in and stay in. That's the problem. But yeah, I mean, very difficult to be getting in up here, with all the bearish divergence. You know, it's just scalping, and if you're scalping, you're scalping with the trend, right? And the trend is obviously up at this stage. Even in this B wave, it's up. So yeah, yeah. Silver, very similar. This one didn't. Well, this one's got that ball hidden too. We got that ball hidden here. So again, we either get a deep correction to this wave here, or it goes and breaks the top, and the bull hidden plays out. So nothing's changed on the higher time frames. It's the same as gold. I'm not really going to go into it too much. It's very similar to gold. You're just pretty much scalping, going with this trend here. This trend here. So yeah. And on the lower time frames, like gold, we're starting to get bearish divergence and that. We're starting to get bearish divergence. So it becomes, riskier. The more bearish divergence you get, the riskier it's going to become. Bitcoin, so we got the 5 up, A, B, C, that nice expanding flat there. And we're looking for a buy. We do have bullish divergence there too. So if you got into this sell here, I'd be at least taking half off, down the bottom here. At least taking half off there. This is still looking rather, I mean, we can still get another lower low here. We are getting a bear hidden in here. This is looking like a flat, like an A, B, C, A, B, C, and then we get A, B, C before we get more downside. So this is looking very corrective. I would be looking for the buy, because if this is the end of the wave C here, this is going to be our opportunity to get in. It's becoming a very large correction in here. But if we go down to the lower time frames, you may get a nice entry. We do have a nice impulse up here. We got a nice impulse up in here. We sort of got 3 down in here. So if you do get a bullish setup, you definitely could look to buy for at least A, B, C here. Your stops down here, of course, or under this low, however you trade. But so there may be a nice opportunity here. Nice opportunity to buy. We got nice impulse. We're getting correction, so we can look for a C up. S&P 500, not going to go into this very much at all. We're right at the top of the market. A lot of bearish divergence. We got to the 5th target, the 2nd target in that wave 5, that 161.8. You can see how much resistance there is there. I'm looking for a sell, but it's not giving any nice sell setups. So pretty much keeping out of it. If you're trading in here, you're getting cut to pieces. You're getting absolutely slaughtered. So I'm waiting for a sell. The problem is, this is the top over here. So we sort of have like 1, 2, 3, 4. We didn't get that 5th wave down with that bear hidden there. Instead, it become very deep to this correction, this impulse. Problem now is this is the choppiest wave. So we sort of have an A, a B, and a C here, and then we can get like A, B, C. It can go on like this forever, and you're just getting cut to pieces. So unless you're an experienced trader, I'd be staying well away from it until we get a nice impulse up, breaking all the tops, and then a nice impulse down, a bearish setup. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that impulse down from the top correction, and then so I can trade at least a C down, and it could really fall over because we're right at record highs. Don't get stuck in a buy up the top of the market. You could get crushed if the market falls over. SP5, AU 200, it's gone up and broken the top. We got this flat here. It was very slow in here, but it has gone. There's nothing to do here either now. You're either on this trade or you're not. I'm not going to go into it too much. Same with you, FTSE. It's still going. There's nothing to do here. Just like S&P 500. I'm waiting for a sell. We're getting all the bearish divergence on the daily, on the H1 and that, so we're waiting for a sell, and there just isn't a sell on it. Actually, there was a sell on this one. Yeah, there would have been a sell on this one, actually, but it's gone now, obviously. Well, it's more on the M5, but yeah, I mean, got a nice impulse down in here. Sort of got 3 up in here. Not a very nice 3 up, but yeah, it's already going. So you could try and get in this. If you get another one up in here, like for A, B, C here, and then you get an A, B, C. You get this one up in here, and then a sell set up on the M1. Well, then you could look for a sell for at least an A, B, C. I mean, we're right down onto the lower time frame, so it's just scalping at this time. But at the top here, any sort of sell setup, you definitely can look for any sort of sell setup. Get it to break even and see how far it falls over for you. Lastly, the DAX. There's nothing to do here either. We already had the ABC up. It's still looking rather bullish, but there's nothing to do here. Well, this here is starting to look. I mean, we got that bull hidden here, and we had like 3 down in here, and I was thinking we got a nice break at that top. If we got a bullish setup here, you could look buy to go and break the top. Instead, this is looking very choppy. It's looking like a B wave, so I'd be looking for a sell. Any sell setup you get, you definitely could look for a sell here for at least an A, B, C. Definitely look for a sell. H1's nice too. A lot of bearish divergence here. Would just need a setup on the lower time frames. There may be something here. It's already gone though. That's the problem. That's why if you join the group, you could get onto a few of these. But yeah, we've got a nice impulse down from the top. So an A, B. If we get a C up in here again, and then a sell set up, definitely that's your opportunity to get in for a nice sell. If this happens, like if you get the nice seller in here. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.